Okay, good morning everyone or good day. Today I am your professor or lecturer here in our extension of the Mechanical Engineering Department, the online Master Planning Review. So today I'm your lecturer. I'm Engineer Francia Ella Barrientos. So I will discuss the basic plumbing arithmetic wherein you will take the registered master plumber. This is one of the scope of the exam. So let's start in. So plumbing arithmetic. So here's just a simple content or the contents that I will discuss to you, different relation of units, the mensuration, the physics, and the fluid flows in the pump. Wherein we will compute for the different pumps that are used or the power wherein yung kailangan mo lang bibilhin mong pump. Kasi if you oversize naman yung mako-compute mo, so that is a waste of money. Okay? So, in relation to units, you should also know different units wherein pag bibili kayo, kasi sa plumbing class, you will also, if you will be now a registered master plumber, you will be the one to design, to estimate the different components or the parts wherein you will install the plumbing fixtures. Okay. So the objective for today is to review the different units and conversion used in plumbing and also solve problems involving areas and volume, the power, the different fluid flows, and pressure flows. Okay, so the first thing we need to understand in plumbing arithmetic, so we need to go to basic, the dimension, and the units that are used here in plumbing arithmetic. So, and also with regards to the relation of units, mensuration is always involved. Okay, so because the shapes, the measurement of the different shapes are always involved, such as areas and volume. So, sa relation of units natin, makikita natin ang different units that are used here in plumbing. Okay? This is just the basic, the length, the area, the volume, the angle. So, we just need to review for this. We need to review this so that we can understand more or we can now compute for the power because alam natin that here in plumbing, kadalasan yung length nasa exam and also the area. Basic lang yung area natin, the volume, the angle, the different forces and mass, pressure, and the energy, and the power. Okay? So the first one is the length. So how do we compute for the length? Okay? So kadalasan, mabibili mo sa market is yung in feet or in foot. Okay? Ang 1 foot natin, that is equivalent to 1 ruler wherein it is equal to 12 inch. So, ang mga pipelines class, mabibili nyo yan sa hardware. So, ilan nga yung, ang mabakal mo kayong class, mga 3, kasi mga feet yan. Kasi 3 feet, ganyan. So, sa market yan class or 6 feet pag bumibili ka yan. So, minsan, ang gamit mo is in meter kasi yun yung nagme-measure ng, yun yung alam natin kadalasan kasi this is SI unit. So, you need to convert that into, if you need to convert that meter into feet, so you just need the equivalent of that. So, isang meter is equal to 3.281 feet. So, yung 1 inch natin, bakit kilalasan yung inch? Ginagamit dito sa plumbing because ang mga pipe sizes or the pipeline natin is from 1/2, papalaki na yan, 1/2, 1 inch pipe, 1 and 1/2. Okay, so papasok na dito yung sizes natin. So you should also know the conversion of that from 1 inch to a centimeter or into millimeter. Okay, 1 centimeter natin, 10 millimeter. And also the kilometer. So, kadalasan nandito class is yung malalayo natin. If you will be successful here in Master Plumber, you will be now promoted. Pwede na yan. Kukompute mo na yung mga malakihang projects mo. So, you can compute from the source. If the source of your water is very far from your home. So, i-compute mo yan in kilometers. So, convert mo lang para mas madali. And also the miles, the yard. So, ito din yung yard. So, kadalasan 3 feet. And the rod, the furlong, and the nautical mile. So, you just need to not memorize this but familiarize with this because alam naman natin na kailangan natin to even though sa buhay natin araw-araw pag bibili ka or you are having your exercise, how many miles? Kadalasan nasa inyong treadmill, miles yung mga ano nyo. Okay? So, itong length, pinaka-basic to class. So, alam na alam nyo. Okay? Also, the area. Dito naman class sa area, when we compute for the basic, bakit ito lang yung nilagay ma'am? Kasi kadalasan yung pinapakompute the cross-sectional area is kadalasan rectangle and circle. Okay. So, ang area natin ng rectangle, okay, balik-balikan mo pa yan, grade 1, hindi naman grade 1, from your grade school. So, alam na alam nyo, that is length times the width ng rectangle natin. This is denoted by the area times A is equal to L times W. In the area of circle, wherein given sa atin yung R, that is your radius. So that is now area is equal to pi r squared. And if the given now is the diameter, so you can use this. Okay. Bakit nagsisimula tayo? Alam ko naman na alam nyo to, but you need to review for this. Kasi para makuha mo tong online plumbing. Okay? Exercise. And also, kadalasan units dito class is in square meter, square inch, and square foot. Okay. Pero naman, yung 1 hectare, basic conversion of the area. Okay, for example, pinapahanap sa atin, the area of the circle is equal to the product of constant pi and the square of radius. If the diameter of a tank is 96 inches, find the area in square feet. So, take note, alam na natin na ang area is pi r squared. But since sa problem ay given sa atin diameter, dito na lang tayo. Okay? Meron namang formula for area wherein yung diameter natin ang hanap. So, area is now equal to the pi d squared over 4 wherein that is 96 inches. Okay? So, convert that. So, substitute. Direct substitute that class. So, may 96 inches ka na. So, pinapakita lang dito sa atin na diameter ng tangke. 96. Pinapanap sa atin yung area. So, this is now the area in inch. In square inch class. But take note, the problem, pinapanap sa atin is in square feet. So, you need to convert that. We all know that, sabi ko nga kanina, yung 1 feet natin or 1 foot is equal to 12 inch. Diba? 12 inch. So, pag kinuha mo yan, gini-square mo yan, automatically magiging 144 yan. Okay? Gini-square lang to. So, para hindi na kayo mahirapan, pinakita ko lang dito. So, just need to convert that inch square or the square inch into feet square. This is now your final answer. That is 50.27 square foot. So, this is an example. So, madami pa class ang kinocompute kadalasan sa area. Meron din tayong trapezoid and the different. Okay? So, pinaka-basic lang to kasi kadalasan pipeline yung pinapakompute sa. Also, the volume. Okay. So, the first one you can see here is the cylinder wherein hahanapin natin yung volume. Kung ano yung magkakasya dito class, that is volume. Okay? So, the volume now class is equal to the area of the circle of a cylinder is equal to the area of the circle times the height. So, we have the volume here which is equal to pi r squared times the height. Or we can also use, if the given is diameter, pi d squared over 4 times height. Okay. If the given space is cylinder, what if that is a regular tank? So this is the area, this is the area class, the task class, the cross-sectional area. This is the height from here to this one. Okay, so computing for the volume of a rectangular tank, so we need to compute for that. The volume now is equal to the length times width times height. Okay, so kadalasan units ng volume class is in cubic meter, inch square, cubic inch, and cubic feet. Okay, anong kadalasan ang lumalabas sa exam natin? So we have here the 1 cubic meter. So ang 1 cubic class, so kadalasan to sa tubigan. Ang sarong cubic meter da class. Pag nagbabakal baga ka mo class bye-bye. Pero ngayon madam ang bakalon mong cubic meter. Kang sand, gravel. Okay. So pag arog kayan class, that is equivalent to 1,000 liters. Okay? And we have also the gallon in US. 4 quarts, that is also equal to that. And also, ang 1 gallon class is equal to 3.785 liters. Okay? This is also the basic conversion, the 1 quarts, the 1 barrel, and the 1 gram. Okay? Also, another example, kung kanina we have an example on area, meron naman tayo dito sa volume. Okay. So, given sa atin is a cylindrical tank with a diameter of 1 meter. Ang height niya class is 2 meters, which is filled with water to a depth of 0.75 meters. So, how much water is in the tank? Take note, dalawa yung binigay sa atin. We have the height of a 2 meters and a depth of 0.75. Tinatanong sa atin, how much water is in the tank? So, hanggang saan lang class yung ano natin? If this is the height of that, hanggang saan lang daw yung tubig natin? So, this is 0.75. So, hanggang dito lang daw class. Yan. Yun lang pinapakompute. Yun lang pinapakuha sa atin. Kaya, wag mo i-compute yung height ng 2 meters kasi that is the maximum. Kung ang tanong dito is what is the maximum or the volume of the tank? Ibig sabihin, yung tanke mismo. Pero ang tinatanong sa atin dito is yung nalagay lang na tubig sa tanke natin, which is 0.75. Okay? So, in computing for that, we have now the volume, which is equal to pi d squared over 4. This is the area times the height. Okay. So, proper substitution, since the unit is in SI unit class, we have now that in meter. So, 1 meter squared over pi times pi over 4 times 0.75 meter. Itin lang natin kasi ang tanong lang is how much water is in the tank. So, ito lang, dito lang tayo. So, we have now the volume which is equal to 0.59 cubic meter. Another example, if kanina we have the cylindrical tank, then we have also the rectangular tank. So, ano yung mga, given sa atin yung rectangular tank, length, width, and the height. So, ang length natin daw is 12 feet, the width is 6 feet, and the height is in 8 feet. So, how do we compute for this? We need to compute for the maximum volume of the water. Ito. Maximum volume of the water in the gallons. Take note, in gallons, but ang unit natin is in cubic feet. In feet. So, that the tank can accommodate. Since we all know that the volume of a rectangular tank is equal to the length times width times height. So, the volume now, length times width times height, automatically makukuha natin. I-multiply mo lang yan na tatlo. Yan, 576 cubic feet. But since hinahanap sa atin sa problem is in gallons, kasi multiple choice naman yung master plumber exam, paano kung ito yung nakita mo? Tama ka naman. Yes, tama ka. Pero ang tinatanong sa'yo is in gallons. So, you need to convert that cubic feet. So, kanina, we have the conversion, basic conversion na 1 cubic feet. Ayan. Is just equal to, ay, class, 7.481. Ayan, yung gallon. Ayan. Convert mo siya into gallons. So, you just need to know the conversion. So, makakancel yung cubic feet mo, automatically gallons na. So, ito yung tamang sagot sa problem na to. So, we have now 4,309.6 gallons. Okay? So, na-compute na natin yan. Balikan ko lang yung relationship natin, the relation of units when it comes to the length, the area, and the volume. You need to know the basic conversion of this. You don't need to memorize those things, but just familiarize it. Solve more problems solved para mas makuha natin to. Okay? Okay. Dito naman tayo class sa angle. When it comes to angle class, dito, may tinatawag tayong, di ba class? Angle of depression, elevation. Okay? So, ito lang muna yung basic na sa angle. We have the 360 degree, which is equal to 2 pi radian. So, when it comes to the orientation, so if this is the okay, halimbawa class ito. So, this is the ano natin, the x-axis. So, from here to that is a 1 revolution or a 1 rotation. So, ang tawag dito is 360 degree, 1 revolution in class, 2 pi radians. That is the equivalent of that. Pero kung hanggang dito ka lang class, ayan ko lang dito class ng red part. From here to this one, at the red line, that is 180 degrees, which is equal to pi radians, or this is a half revolution. Okay. Bakit kailangan natin to? Kasi may mga slopes yung sa plumbing design. Okay. Madi-discuss yan fast in the next week pa. Also, we need to review the forces and the mass. So, ang forces class kadalasan, 1 kip is in kilopound. 1 kip is equal to 1,000 pounds. And this is for the force also, we have 1 Newton, which is equal to 1 kilogram mass per second squared. Ito class yung mga kadalasan sa mass, yung 1 kilogram. Diba? Alam niyo na to pag nagpapakilo kayo pag bumibili kayo ng bigas. Okay, the kilogram, ang 1 kilogram natin is in 1,000 grams. Ang metric ton natin, class, is 1,000 kilogram. Ayan. And also 1 English ton, the 2,000 pounds, the short ton, and the long. Okay? Sabi ko nga, you don't need to memorize this, but familiarize yourself with this. Okay? So, familiarize yourself with this para mas makuha natin ito. Okay. Dito na tayo. Also, we need to review the temperature we're in. That is a measure of coldness or hotness. Yan. Ay, dito pala, class. Right. Okay, dun sa temperature class, yung degree Celsius and the degree Fahrenheit. Okay. So, dito sa pressure class, we have tinatawag na atmospheric pressure. Okay. So, this is the pink line. So, kadalasan class, alam mo yan. Constant yan na atmospheric pressure. Ito class yung mga conversion niya. So, kadalasan nasa PSI siya. Ano ang PSI? That is pound per square inch. 14.696 pound per square inch. The 101.325 or the 101,325 Pascal. The 1.325 kilopascal. The 1.01325 bars. The 760 millimeter HD and the 29.92 HHG. Now take note, here, so ang absolute pressure class when it comes, pag sinabing absolute vacuum, automatic zero na yung absolute pressure natin. Okay? But pag tinatanong sa'yo, what is the absolute pressure? Given sa atin yung atmospheric pressure and tinatawag na gauge pressure. When the gauge pressure is positive, you automatically computing for the absolute pressure. Mali red. Ayan. Computing for this absolute pressure. Pag positive plus yung gauge, you just need to add the atmospheric plus the gauge pressure. Ito yun na atmospheric na given. Ito, familiarize or pwede naman i-memorize mo. Pero mas maganda kung familiarize mo siya. Okay? So, you just need to add those. You have now the absolute pressure. But when it comes to the problem, given sa'yo sabi doon, vacuum pressure, hanapin daw yung absolute pressure of that at a certain point or the certain elevation we're in or a certain space. So, yung absolute pressure natin. So, atmospheric pressure minus that. Okay. So, makukuha mo na yung absolute pressure natin. Okay? Paikot-ikutin mo pa rin yan. Pag positive class yung gauge, so, yung absolute pressure natin, absolute, saan siya klaseng dito? Osanide dito sa aking mousepad. Okay. Atmospheric pressure plus the gauge pressure. Ayan, class. Review lang to. So, mga hindi nakakaalam, ito class yung kadalasang hinahanap sa problem, minsan gauge pressure. Gauge pressure kasi alam mo yung atmospheric at given sa yung absolute pressure pag positive. Pero kung sinabi dun sa problem na vacuum, absolute, pag-compute ng absolute pressure natin is equal to the atmospheric minus the pressure vacuum. Okay? So, take note of the word vacuum or the gauge. Ito din class. So, since fluids tayo, fluid flow sa pressure ay sa plumbing, kadalasan may pressure yung static fluid natin. Okay? As the pressure in the static fluid increases, so linearly with the depth. Okay? Naging space yan habang tumataas din yung depth natin. Nagataas din yung gauge pressure natin. Take note here, kung kanina, class kanina, magma-minus lang tayo kasi gauge pressure yon. I mean, vacuum. Sinabi sa problem, vacuum. Pero when it comes to a fluid, pressure head na yun ha. May pressure head tayo dito. Okay? So, eto, for a given fluid, the vertical distance, the change in Z, is sometimes used as the measure of the fluid. I mean, the measure of the pressure. And it is called the pressure head. So, take note, yung mga tangke natin, open to atmosphere. For example, yung tangke mo sa plumbing natin. Yung source natin. Or gumawa ka ng rain harvester sa bahay mo kasi mahina yung tubig mo sa nawasa. Gumawa ka nito. So, open lang sa atmosphere kasi ito yung downspout mo dito ng tubig. So, ano dito yung tubig natin, natitipon. So, pag hindi na umulan, eto na. Tinanong sa'yo ng professor mo or yung what is the pressure below that? Okay? Halimbawa dito, ano daw yung pressure at the bottom of that water tank? So, when you compute for that, the pressure below here, assuming that this is also letter Z or H na lang, capital H. So, the pressure at the bottom, the pressure at the capital H is just equal to the atmospheric kasi open siya class. Pag open to atmosphere, that is equal to atmospheric pressure. Hindi na yan sa'yo bibigay. Dapat alam nyo na yan na atmospheric pressure or that. So, the previous slides, makikita nyo doon kung ano yung mga equivalent natin sa atmospheric pressure. So, that is equal to now the pressure at the bottom, the capital H is equal to the pressure atmospheric plus ito, yung gauge natin dito. Gauge. The gauge pressure. So, paano natin siya mako-compute? So, the gauge pressure here, so, kadalasan class ng gauge pressure, that is equal to density times the gravity times the height. Since ang height na dinenote ko is the bottom at H, so this is now your pressure gauge plus the atmospheric pressure. That is now the pressure at the bottom of your tank. Okay? Example. Okay, example. Balikan natin. Okay, don't. Okay, balikan nyo class. Balikan natin yung sa pressure. So, we have the vacuum gauge. Take note of the word vacuum. Gauge is connected to a chamber. Reads 35 kilopascal at a location where the atmospheric pressure is 92. So, we need to determine the absolute pressure in the chamber. So, ulitin ko lang. Excuse me. So, ganito. Since meron tayong atmospheric pressure, yung blue class. Ayan. Given din sa atin yung absolute pressure. Pinapanap sa atin is the vacuum. Vacuum. Okay? So, here, sabi ko nga kanina, yung absolute pressure natin, pag positive siya, ay pag magiging negative tong class yung gauge, the atmospheric, ayan, minus the pressure, vacuum. Ito yung class, oh. Ito yung atmospheric pressure natin, the blue one. Since given sa problem, the vacuum gauge yung connected, ibig sabihin, ang mariread yan is pressure gauge. The pressure gauge of that is a vacuum. So, this is now your green one, that is the vacuum. Yan yung naread niya. So, ang mangyayari, ang matitira na lang sa'yo is the absolute, the violet. Okay? So, computing for that, since given pala sa atin sa problem yung, ayan, determine the absolute pressure in the chamber. Okay? So, baliktad to class, mali yung notation dito. So, this is absolute. Pinapanap sa atin yung absolute pressure. Ang given sa atin is yung vacuum. So, atmospheric pressure, binigay sa problem. Pag binigay sa problem, gamitin mo yan na atmospheric pressure. Pag hindi binigay class, balikan mo yon the previous slides wherein yung equivalent natin ng pressure is the 1 atmospheric pressure is equal to 101.325 kilopascal. Okay? So, balikan mo yon minus the absolute pressure, the atmospheric minus the vacuum. Kasi, yung vacuum nga natin, nag-read na ng 35 kilopascal. So, minus the vacuum. Ito class yung formula natin dito. May error lang ako dito. So, minus 35. So, we have now 57 kilopascal. Now, that is now the pressure or the absolute pressure given sa atin na vacuum yung pressure. Okay? So, also, here in plumbing, we have the energy and the power. So, we have, bakit kailangan natin to? Let's say, class, when it comes to the production, positive yung work natin, automatically, may power na nagpo-produce as well as energy. What energy? Mechanical energy. Okay? Pag pump class, negative ang work. Okay? So this is the basic conversion wherein the 1 BTU is equal to 778 foot-pound. The 1 BTU is 1.055 kilojoule and 252 calorie. Wherein the 1 calorie is equal to 4.187 joule. And ito yung pinaka-importante. So this one, ha? Ito. Bakit? Because when it comes to the conversion of what is 1 HP, that is a horsepower. So 1 horsepower is equal to 550 foot-pound per seconds. Bakit? Kadalasan in minute. Ito din. 1 HP is equal, kadalasan in seconds to class. So 1 HP is equal to 33,000 foot-pound per minute. So automatically, times mo na lang yan in minute, makukuha mo na yan. And the 1 HP, which is equal to 0.746 kilowatt. So, compute for that. Eto class. What is watt? That is in joule per second. Ano yung joule natin? That is Newton meter. Ano ang Newton natin? That is in kilogram mass per second squared. Okay? So, dapat alam mo yung pasunod-sunod yan, ha? Ulitin ko. Para hindi malito. Diba? Oh. Ang class, kadalasan na unit ng work mo is kilogram or a force is kilogram meter per second squared. This is equal class into Newton. Pag ang Newton mo na multiplied na by meter, magiging, ano na to class? Joule. Yan. Pag ang joule mo na divide ulit sa seconds, that is now in watts. Okay? So, tandaan yan ha. So, your 1 HP now is equal to 0.746 kilowatt. And your 1 HP in BTU is 2,545 BTU. Okay? Balikan natin yung fluid properties. This is just a review. So, ano yung density daw? Ang density class is, so this is the raw density. Density of any substance is equal to the mass, not weight. Take note, not weight per unit volume. So, density is equal to your mass over volume. Kadalasan na unit mo is in kilogram per cubic meter. Pag sa English class, automatically, pag sa English, ang unit niya is in, hindi, feet class, mali si ma'am. So, this is now pound mass. Iba class ang pound force ha. Per cubic feet. Okay? Review lang ng fluid properties. Ano naman class ang specific volume? Iba class ang volume sa specific volume. Ayan. The specific volume class is the volume per unit mass. It is also the reciprocal of density. So, take note class, kanina alam mo yung density na mass over volume. Ngayon, specific volume. So, reciprocal daw. So, ibig sabihin, 1 over the density. So, kung alam mo yung density natin, we have now the volume per unit. Baliktarin mo yung kanina, that is the specific volume. Yun yung tawag nun. So, this is now your in cubic meter per kilogram. Okay? Or in English, cubic feet per pound mass. Okay? Another property wherein the fluid is in fluid flow, so very importante din to class, pag pinapahanat sa atin yung specific gravity, ang specific gravity class or tinatawag na relative density is a dimensionless unit. Take note, this is a ratio of the standard of the density of the fluid over the density of the standard of that fluid. Bakit dalawa ang standard ng density? Pag sa fluid class, automatically, ang density natin of ang fluid kasi class, may classification yan. May liquid and gas. Pag liquid class, ang density ng standard substance is density ng H2O. Diba? Pag sa gas class, ang density niyan na standard substance is yung density ng air. Since sa plumbing, di naman air ang ginagamit. Depende na lang kung walang supply kayo. Okay. So, tubig dapat yan. So, ang gagamitin natin sa specific gravity natin, kasi ratio siya, the density of that substance, pag pinahanap sa'yo, kasi hindi naman lang tubig, diba? Liquid, madami pa yan. Malay mo, supplier ka ng oil. Gagawa ka ng pipeline ng oil. So, halimbawa, oil yung substance mo para hanapin natin yung specific gravity niya. And over the density of the standard of the liquid. Ano yung standard? Sabi ko nga, that is H2O or yung water natin. So, sabi ko nga, this is a dimensionless unit or the dimensionless. Okay, so this is a dimensionless quantity. Balikan natin. We have the density, pangalawa yung specific volume natin, and pangatlo yung specific gravity natin. And also the specific weight. Yan. Bakit kailangan ng specific weight? Kasi when it comes to fluid flows and computing for the pressure head and the different heads here, kadalasan specific weight yung binibigay sa'yo. Ang specific weight class ng substance, the weight of a unit volume of a substance is the specific weight. Specific. Yan. Express daw siya. Ito. The specific weight of a substance is equal to class? Weight per unit volume. Weight. Iba ang weight sa mass, ha? Okay. So, kadalasan, yung weight natin class equal siya sa mass times the gravity and over the volume. Take note, ang density natin equal to density. Specific weight natin pwede siya ma-express as density times the gravity. Okay? Pwede din to class. Specific weight. Okay. Another example. So, example na to class ng lahat tata. So, a cylindrical drum 2 feet in diameter, 3 feet height is filled with a fluid whose density is 40. Given sa atin yung density, ilan daw yan class? 40 pound per cubic feet. Yan, given sa atin yung diameter which is 2 feet and 3 feet. Ang pinapahanap sa atin, volume. Total volume of the fluid, the total mass, the specific volume, and the specific weight. Ano yung gagawin natin? Okay. Sige nga. volume. Ano yung una mong kukunin? Di ba alam natin yung okay, volume of the fluid. So, given sa atin yung dimension, di alam natin, volume of the cylinder. Di ba? Pi d squared to the fourth over, ay, bakit to the fourth? Pi d squared over 4, okay, times the height. Okay. Since alam mo na yan, substitute mo to. Ano yung answer natin? Ito na. Ito. Ito, class, yung volume natin doon. Given sa atin yung 2 feet diameter and the 3 feet. So, we have now the volume. It's very easy. Paano naman pagkuha ng mass natin in pounds and slugs? We all know density is equal to mass over volume. Pag dinerive mo to class na formula in finding the mass, that is mass is equal to density times the volume. Ito class. So, given sa atin yung density. Density is 40 pound per cubic feet. So, we have 40 pound per cubic feet, the density, times the volume. Na-compute na natin yan, which is 9.425 feet, cubic feet. So, maka-cancel class ito. Maka-cancel baga class. So, tingnan mo yung cubic feet, maalis yan. Matitira sa'yo is in pounds. So, pound mass. 377 pound mass. But take note, slugs. Ano tong slugs na to? Okay, 1 slug class is equal to 1 pound force per. Ito. 1 slug. Erase lang natin muna para hindi magulo. Dito na tayo sa slugs class ha. Okay. Sa slugs class, yung mass natin, alam natin na 377 pounds. May constant proportionality class na tinatawag na K, wherein that is equivalent to 32.174 pound mass feet. Or this is just the equation class ha. I mean the conversion of this para ma-convert mo siya into slugs. Okay? Kasi yung 1 pound force per feet per second squared is just equal to slugs. Okay? Alamin nyo mo lang tong constant proportionality, makukuha mo na to into slugs. Okay? Pangatlo class. Okay, class, pangatlo. Pinapahanap naman sa atin yung specific volume. Sabi ko nga, ang specific volume mga class, that is the reciprocal of your density. Since sa problem class, given naman yung density, get the reciprocal of that. Ano yung reciprocal? Kabaliktaran. So, 1 over the 40 pound per cubic feet. That's it. That is now your specific volume, 0.025 cubic foot or feet per pound mass. Okay? And last but not the least, we need to compute for the specific weight wherein the gravity is now equal to 31.9 feet per second squared. Okay. The specific weight class, sabi ko nga kanina, that is equal to mass times the gravity over the volume. Specific weight baga class, weight over volume. Ang weight baga class, sabi ko, mass times the gravity, yun yung numerator mo dito, divided by the volume. So, makukuha mo na to. We have the mass, so, inilagay lang ko dito class is slugs, but take note, this is also equal to this one unit, to this unit. 1 slug is equal to 1 pound force feet per second squared. So, maka-cancel to, matitira sa'yo is in specific weight or in pound force per cubic feet. Okay? So, that is one example of the different fluid properties. I hope you learned it. Right. Okay. So, punta na tayo when it comes to computing the power of a certain pump. Sabi dito kasi pag magde-design ka ng plumbing, sabi dito, What is the horsepower in HP required to raise 40,000 pounds 200 feet high in 5 minutes? O, binigyan ka ng oras. Ilan yung power na kailangan mo? Ilan? Kasi 200 feet, ang taas niyan, class. I-raise natin, ito yung source mo. Pump ka dito. Anong gagamitin mo para ma-raise yan doon sa taas? Ilan daw yung kailangan na capacity niya? Ayan, 40,000 pounds. Yan yung itataas mong tubig sa 200 feet na taas in 5 seconds. Hindi naman, 5 minutes. Dapat daw mataas mo yan, class, in 5 minutes. With the given condition, ito yung kukompute mo, yung pump natin. Ito. Anong power ang kailangan niya or tinatawag na horsepower? Okay? So first, we need to compute for that. We all know that the power is equal to work over time. Okay? And the work is equal to the force times the distance, or the vertical distance of that, or the horizontal distance, depending upon the orientation of your of the force. Okay, since upward yung force natin, so that is ano, vertical din. So, anong force yung kailangan natin? In pound force na to, class. Pounds. So, 40,000 pound force. Okay, yung force natin. Pound force to. 40,000 pounds times 200 feet times over the 5 minutes. Kukuha natin dito, class, is 1.6 million na foot-pound per minute. Yun na. Kung makikita mo sa choices, tama naman to. But ang tinatanong sa'yo is in HP. That is in horsepower. So, you need to convert it, into HP. So, we all know that the conversion of 1 horsepower, yung 1 horsepower natin, class, 1 horsepower natin is equal to the 33. Sabi ko ba kanina, pag given sa'yo is in minute, ito yung gagamitin mo. 33 feet pound force over the minute. Diba? Yan. Ito yung gagamitin mo, 1 HP over 33 as a foot pound per minute. So, makpa-cancel to na dalawa. This conversion or the unit. So, matitira sa'yo is in HP. So, makukuha mo, ito na yung kailangan mong bilhin na power rating o yung HP natin para ma-require mo, para ma-reach mo tong 40,000 in 20 feet. Okay? 48.48 HP. To go. Okay. So, the fundamental equations of fluid flow. So, basic lang din to, class. Pahapyawan natin the fluid of fluids and pumps. Ito, class, yung tinatawag na energy head equation. So, this is the head equation where it is equal to the pressure head. Tawag dito is pressure head, velocity head, plus elevation head. Ito pala kakasus. Ano yung H mo? That is the total energy head. Ito, class, yung P, that is if the pressure. Yung sa denominator niya is specific weight plus the velocity squared. This is the velocity over 2 times the gravity. Ayan naman yung mga notation niya, class, plus the elevation. Okay? Also, the continuity flow equation. Ito yung pinaka-importante. This is the volumetric flow rate or the discharge time is equal to the area of that and the velocity. What area? The cross-sectional area of the pipe. Okay. And the V here is the velocity of the fluid. Excuse me. Okay. For example, given a capacity of 800 gallon per minute, flowing through 8-inch diameter pipe. Find the velocity in feet per second. Given sa atin, class, is yung tubo natin is given sa atin yung tubo. Okay. Ano daw yung flow niya? 800 gallon per minute. GPM. Yan yung flow niya. So, take note, ang given na talaga sa atin is in discharge, the discharge of that, wherein volumetric flow rate na siya kasi gallon per minute na. So, since yung pinapahanap sa atin is velocity in feet per second, so, balikan mo yung continuity equation. Okay, class? Balikan mo yon. So, the Q, which is equal to the cross-sectional area times the velocity of the fluid. So, we have now the 1 cubic feet, which is equal to 7.481 gallons. So, i-convert muna natin siya into cubic feet per second. So, ang 8,000 gallon per minute pala, class, that is also equal to, so, magiging flow na natin is 1.78 cubic feet per second. Ibig sabihin, class, ito na yung flow niya. Ito yung streamline niya dito. No, volumetric flow. So, paano yan gagawa? Convert muna natin yung gallon into cubic feet. 1 cubic feet is equal to 74.81. And yung minute natin, class, convert din natin siya into seconds. Kaya ang matitira sa iyo is cubic feet per second. Okay? So, computing for that, we will find now the volumetric flow rate, which is equal to now to Q 1.78 cubic feet per second. So, hahanapin na natin kung ano yung hinahanap sa problem. What is the required velocity in feet per second? So, we have now here, from the continuity equation, wherein it is Q is equal to the A, which is the area nga, sabi ko, times the velocity. So, we have now the velocity here, which is equal to the volumetric flow rate over the area. So, yung velocity na natin, class, 1.78 cubic feet per second, the volumetric flow rate, divided by the area. What is the area of the pipeline? That is pi diameter squared over 4. Substitute, since given sa atin diameter is in inch, convert that into foot. Okay? Inch, makaka-cancel yung inch mo. Foot na siya. But wag mong kakalimutan is squared siya, class, ha? Squared over 4. So we have now the velocity, which is equal to 5.10 feet per second. Okay? So, babalikan mo lahat yun na fluid property para mas maintindihan mo to. Okay, class? Okay. Ito, class, mahaba-haba. So, our horizontal pipe, whose diameter changes gradually from 18-inch diameter at point A. So, may point A ka dito. Point A, papuntang point B. Horizontal daw, class, ha? So, maliit siya dito. Umabot siya dito, malaki na. Malaki na yung pipeline mo. Okay, papalaki to, class, ha? Hindi ko lang maayos mo to. Okay. Papalaki na yung pipe mo. Pakonti-konti. Gradually yan, class, lumalaki. Kasi from 18 to 36. So, pakonti ko na. Hindi naman, class. Pakonti lang. Portion by portion, papalaki yan, class. Hanggat makaabot siya sa 36 inch. There is 30 CFS. What is CFS? That is cubic feet per second. Now, this is the volumetric flow rate. Plus, when it comes to horizontal pipelines, kung ano yung in mo, in volume, that is also the out. So, equal lang yan. 30 cubic feet per seconds. If the gauge pressure at point A, may gauge pressure ka dito, is 10 psi and at point B is 10.99 psi, determine the head loss from point A to point B. When it comes to head loss class, as long as the pipe is increasing or in every inch or in every foot na nag-i-increase siya, may head loss dyan class. Ibig sabihin class, pag ang source ng tubig mo, napakalayo na, may head loss yan class. Kaya humihina talaga yung pressure. Lalong-lalo na kung ikaw yung pinakamalayo. Okay? Kaya may system loss na sinasabi. Okay? Pero binabayaran mo pa rin yan. Katulad dun sa APEC, may system loss. Kung sa water system, sa water district, may system loss din. So, pina-charge yan sa'yo. Okay? So, ano yung pinapahanap sa atin? Head loss from point A to point B. Since we have 2 points, point A and point B, so compute for that. We have now the continuity equation. The volume, the discharge is equal to the area times the velocity. Compute for that. Q over A plus, the cross-sectional area. So, sabi ko nga, when it comes to inch, i-convert mo into feet. Master mo to. Squared mo, this is the area, times the volumetric flow rate, makakancel yung dalawang feet. The feet, matitira sa'yo is feet per second. This is the velocity at point A. Kung ano yung ginawa mo sa point A, yun din gagawin mo sa point B. Saan lang sila magkakaiba since all equal naman yung discharge or the volumetric flow rate. Okay. So, equal naman siya. So, mag-iiba lang kayo sa diameter. So, ang given sa atin at point B is 36 inch. Okay. So, this is now the velocity at point B. When computing class for the head loss, we have the total energy head at point A is equal to the head loss at point B, the total energy. The total energy at point B plus the head loss from point A to point B. So, deriving this equation, so nakuha mo na yung head loss using that equation. Gamitin mo to, makukuha mo na to. Head loss now is equal to the total energy head at point A minus total energy head at point B. So, we have the head loss from point A to point B. We have the pressure head, the velocity head, the elevation head, minus the pressure head, the velocity head, and the velocity head and the elevation head at point B. Take note that this is a horizontal, automatically zero yan class, zero. Zero din dito sa baba. Ano lang mag-iiba-iba sa kanila? Yung pressure at point A, which is 10, sa B is 10.9. Ano pa? Yung velocity at point 2 and the velocity at point. Yun lang papalit. I-minus mo yan lahat. O, yung specific weight class hindi given sa problem, but take note, when it comes to specific weight of a fluid, which is water, pag hindi given sa problem, that is 62.4 pound force per cubic feet. Okay? So, the head loss now is 2.12 feet. Okay? Yan, class. So, that is the head loss from point A to point B. Given sa atin yung continuity equation, the pressure head. So, we have now the head loss at point A to point B. Since given na sa atin ang head loss, kasi horizontal siya. Kanina ba class na example sa pagkuha ng power is vertical. Paano pag-compute mo ng power pag horizontal? Since na-compute mo na yung head loss from point A to point B, for example, dinagdagan dito, hanapin daw natin yung power nito. Yung power. The power needed to pump this. Okay? Given na sa atin yung head loss. So, pag given sa atin kasi yung head loss, yung power natin, it is just equal to the volumetric flow rate nga, sabi ko kanina, which is in pounds, kung ilan ba yung pounds natin. Yan. You can also use class okay class. So, finding this, so, halimbawa, pinahanap sa atin yung power. So, we have the specific weight of water and the head. Okay? Alam natin to. So, specific lang yung in every minute. Halimbawa, in a minute. Ilan yung power na kailangan natin. Since alam natin yung specific weight natin, 62.4 pound per cubic feet. Multiply lang natin siya sa head loss natin na 2.1. Tama ba ako? 2.1 2 feet. Actually, yung minute dito class, you can use the volumetric flow rate here as your reference. Okay? Reference mo to. So, i-multiply mo lang to, yung specific weight mo, saka yung head loss mo, sa Q. So, ano yung Q natin? 30 feet. So, if we have that calculator ko. Computing for this, so, sabi ko nga, power is equal to volumetric flow rate times the specific weight times the head loss. So, ilan na? 30 times 62.4. 62.4 times the head loss to, kasi horizontal siya. It is now equal to 3,968. Point. Ang sulat ko. 0.64. Ano yung magiging unit mo? Cubic feet. Maka-cancel to. Pound force per cubic feet times feet. Matitira sa atin is cubic feet. Maka-cancel. Pound force per seconds. Pound force feet per seconds. Pag per seconds class, i-convert mo yung 1 HP natin into, kasi yung 1 HP natin is equal to 550, diba class? Pag seconds. Foot-pound per second. So, divide natin siya. Divided by 550. So, the answer now. So, ang kailangan natin na power ng pump natin, class, when it comes to this, that is 7.22 HP. Okay? So, ganun po class yung pag-solve ng given sa atin kasi yung horizontal pa. Yung orientation natin is horizontal. Pag horizontal class, automatically yung head loss mo due to pipelines, may makaka-apekto. Okay? Makaka-apekto sa flow, sa power din. Okay? Okay? Okay, thank you. So, kung may tanong kaya class, paki-comment na lang and I will just answer it. Okay? So, thank you class. So, I hope you have learned today a lot. So, basic pa lang yun, class. Basic computation when it comes to plumbing arithmetic. I hope you enjoy the day, and I hope you enjoy my lecture, and I hope I I mean you find it very interesting to study the plumbing. Okay? The online plumbing exam. The online plumbing enhancement or the extension activity of the mechanical engineering department. I hope you will stay from the very first to the last topic of our extension. So thank you and God bless. So if you have questions, just comment and makakaabot yun sa akin. Thank you and God bless. I hope you enjoy and God bless. Thank you.